Hey y'all. Happy Palm Sunday, New Monday. This is like the music I imagine when Jesus entered Jerusalem, you know. He came through, they was waving their palms, literally, and the plant of the palm, and they was laying out the garments, and Jesus came through. He came through and everybody was happy. They was like, Jesus! It's Jesus. He's stepping through. The crowd was cheering him along the road. Some spread their garments on the ground. Others threw those leafy branches down. I said, Jesus. Said, hey, Jesus. They're like, we got the victory. Cause Jesus is you. And Jesus is here for you and me. Cause we got the victory. Yeah, in Jesus. He's your personal savior. Just watch your behavior. Cause Jesus will save you. If you have not invited him into your heart, why don't you start? Jesus. Do it right now. He lives. He'll show you how. He lives. I'll show you how. He lives. Oh, Jesus. Step through. Oh. Then they turned on him the next week. But we ain't even gonna mention that. How they turned on him. Ain't that how it be, you know? This is like, this song symbolizes that second chapter. You know, you done got there, everybody likes you, then they like, you know what? I don't really like that girl. I don't really like that guy. I think maybe we'll crucify him. It's kind of how it is, you know, you came, started your new position or whatever. Everybody was like, hey, welcome. How are you? Next thing you know, they're trying to put you on that cross. All wrong. What's up, y'all? Y'all know I don't have no sense. But yes, yesterday was Palm Sunday. Next Sunday is Easter Sunday, Resurrection Sunday. What is it all for? He lives. That's what I do know. How was y'all weekend? Mine was cool. Me and the hubs hung out, cleaned up the house, watched a lot of TV. Shout out to my best friend, got me watching Will Trent. That was a pretty good series. I watched a lot of that this weekend. And there were some new series that came out that I watched. They weren't so terrible. So did that. You know, cleaned up my house, went to the gym on Sunday. And yeah, it all was well. One more week of Lent. I've been staying strong with my sweets, even though my husband tried to buy me some candy this weekend because he is a Grinch. But I've been staying strong. I had to show that man willpower, y'all. You got to. Other than that, that's really all I was up to this weekend, y'all. Just chilling. But let's go ahead and get into this news because nothing exciting happened for me, which I love. It was a nice, boring weekend, which I love. I slept like nobody's business. That was amazing. Yeah, it was a cool weekend. I hope y'all had a really good weekend as well. Trump's NYC hush money fraud cases could reach a boiling point on Monday. Every week, this is supposed to reach a boiling point. Man killed a brother injured in a mountain lion attack in Northern California. Katie Couric reveals birth of first grandchild. Cool. Putin vows to punish those behind the Russia concert massacre. Rest in peace. I think it was like 130 people killed out there. Pants are canceled. How to rock the no pants fashion. I won't be rocking that anytime soon. Mega Millions player misses nearly $1 billion jackpot but still wins big in California. Teenager 18 kills beloved mom, 38 and 3 kids she was mentoring in a horrific 112-mile-per-hour crash. Hey. ISIS claims responsibility for the attack at the Moscow area concert venue that left at least 60 dead. So ISIS is taking blame for that. Prince Harry hopes of a reconciliation with William and Kate likely to be thwarted. Who knows? You know, Kate Middleton announced that she has cancer, and people are wondering if William and Harry will make up, and, you know, this will be all the things. Now that they only drug Kate's name through the mud, now they'll just come, they're already starting back on Meghan and Harry. Missing mother's body found in a garbage truck in Virginia, police say. Sad. So these two Canadian men, they were switched at birth, and they didn't find out because one of them was like Ukrainian Jewish descent and the other one was indigenous. And obviously the indigenous man, he went to have a DNA thing because, you know, you have to do that now to get your rights. And they found out that, no, you're not indigenous. Come to find out he's been switched at birth, and, you know, they had lived completely different lives. One's dad died at 3, the so-called indigenous man, and so he got put in a foster home. And his other brother had a really terrible life. No, he had a good life. One had a bad life, one had a good life, but the one that came to find out he was an indigenous, he got put in a foster home. Then, you know, he found out that he's not even in the tribe, the whole thing. So the hospital offered an apology. It was like an accidental mix-up or whatever. So yeah, that happened. Let's see, this woman said she had a bad trip to Cabo with her friends. Let's see if this will play. Probably not. So, in case you didn't know, the internet's main characters at the moment are Kalia's best friend, and broke girl Nutella. The trio went on a group vacation to Cabo for Kalia's best friend's birthday. But now that trip has become infamous for all the wrong reasons. In Kalia's original TikTok, she says the broke friend, whom she named Nutella, arrived in Cabo with just $135 to her name. During a group dinner, for instance, Nutella ended up owing Kalia $46. It's also worth bearing in mind that Kalia and Nutella were only acquaintances and didn't know each other. These Kalia added then went from bad to worse as a birthday girl and Nutella both got extremely drunk on a night out, leaving Kalia and her friend to take care of the pair. She later alleges that Nutella slept with someone for an extra $100, and things deteriorated between the pair further after Nutella stole Kalia's iPhone charger and room key card, leaving Kalia to pay $60 for a new card. According to Kalia, Nutella also exposed herself to her boyfriend while he was in the bathroom. The next day, Kalia said she opted not to go on a party boat after the exhausted night she had, leaving the birthday girl and Nutella to go by themselves with no money and no phone after they fell in the pool that night before. In a 10-minute story time, Kalia said that animosity between her and Nutella came to a head when Nutella allegedly read Kalia's messages on the birthday girl's phone and decided to confront Kalia about it. Throughout the trip, Kalia says the birthday girl kept paying for Nutella's excursions, and as a result, Nutella's pick-me attitude, she avoided the pair during their stay. Cross-TikTok users are divided over whose side they're on. While many are critical of the broke girl's behaviors, others question Kalia was too hard on her and consider her to be in the wrong on account of her attitude. Others still suggested that the trip should have never happened due to her not really knowing the broke girl well. But things only got thornier as the alleged birthday girl shared her own perspective of what happened in TikTok. While her version of events is pretty faithful to what has been summarized so far, she lamented numerous times that she felt stuck in the middle due to the tensions between the two. "I was so drained," she said in a since-deleted video, before adding that she felt pressured to foot the broke girl's bills because she didn't want her to feel left out. But as the debate over who's the worst rumbles on, there's a further twist in this tale. While writing the article, the birthday girl's TikTok telling her side of things also vanished as speculation began to spread on social media that the whole thing was faked for clout. As everything becomes far more uncertain, one thing is clear: don't vacation with people you don't know. One thing I know about like trips, somebody always comes with not enough money. But me paying for people I don't really know, you know, I know most people, if you ain't got it and like we're having fun, I'm gonna probably pay for you, but you'll never come again. That's just me. Girl, at least y'all didn't kill her like Shanquella, because we still ain't got justice for her. Woman goes into Wells Fargo to open up an account. She ends up helping the bank teller with something unexpected. What was it? Well, I guess she was giving the bank teller advice. For dating. Customer left their AirPods charging at the front desk and their stuff was stolen. Duh. They don't be monitoring them front desks like that. So this girl scared me right here. I think this video's still up. See what the packaging on that wig look like, because I didn't buy stuff off of Amazon, but that is scary. I'm not glued it to my head or nothing like that, but can we see the original package, big dog? All that hair be dirty, really. You gotta wash it before you get it. But what she has is some kind of chicken pox thing. That was scary. Makes you think twice, but I don't know, man. Even if you go to them braid shops sometimes, especially if you don't bring your own hair, they be having that hair back in that room. If you've ever been to a braid shop, you know what I mean, but their hair be back in the back room somewhere, and you just don't even know what's going on. Kevin McCarthy and Matt Gaetz' fuse heats up after months after the forms. They're fighting still in Republican land. Just to narrow it down, they're still fighting. They're fighting with the new speaker. They don't like him with the spending plan. Kamala Harris is addressing possible TikTok ban. We do not intend to ban the app. Kevin Hart was honored for the Mark Twain Prize for his humor. How meatloaf became America's favorite dinner? I don't think so. Meatloaf is okay, but it's not even top 10 for me. It's not even top 10. I actually used to hate meatloaf when I was younger. Although my husband makes a very good meatloaf. He made really good turkey meatloaf, believe it or not. He hasn't made that in a while. Doesn't mean I want it, sir, because you know you're listening to this. I don't want to read nothing about the HOA. Dad's horror after seeing daughter who was beaten to death in bathtub. I just collapsed, man. How'd you end up seeing that, man? Two Texas boys ages 7 and 12 taken into custody in connection with a woman stabbed to death. Two Texas boys were taken into custody Saturday following the stabbing of a woman who was left hospitalized in critical condition. The stabbing happened at a residence we don't know the residents. The boys ages 7 and 12 allegedly returned home after a possible verbal confrontation with a woman aged 59. The children fled the scene after the stabbing and the woman was transported to the hospital. From what I've gathered, it was just a verbal altercation. The female appeared to have several stab wounds to her abdomen area. Tours continued. The female was transported to a nearby hospital where she's now in surgery and is in critical condition. It is unclear at the time which child is accused of stabbing the woman, although the information has not been confirmed. They said the 12-year-old is facing the charges. Man, that's crazy. Whose little bad kids is out here stabbing people? Babysitter killed 3-year-old over vomit. People are unhinged. Alright, let's check out another site. Although it is pretty slow in news right now, I'll tell you guys that. I looked earlier. I've been looking all weekend. It hasn't been too many things happening. I guess ex-rapper May says he does not regret parting ways with the rap game while at the peak of his career. This is how it's meant to go. I know that's right, Mace. Ice Cube stands on working with Elon Musk after fans call him out. A fan accused Ice of being aligned with white supremacists after he gave an update about the Big Three League. And y'all know Ice Cube is all about the money. That's all he know. Tiffany Haddish says she's been sober for 72 days. That's about it. People were teasing Chris Brown because he said like how it would be being in a relationship with people and people brought up his domestic violence. He kind of walked himself into that. People are changing the word pause to no Diddy, meaning that Diddy's on pause. Get it? So Patti LaBelle's on-air tiff with the wife of the former Nickelodeon producer Dan Snyder resurfaces. So if you don't remember, Dan Snyder's the guy that Nickelodeon's talking about, the toxic dude. But I never knew his wife was that lady that Patti got into it with on air. And that was so funny. I'm going to play it because Patti is funny. I think it was down here somewhere, right here.
Are you okay? Good, yeah, but I don't need paper. I just made sure my hands were clean, and when I said to the audience, this is paper, I meant that I'm not touching the actual cupcake, boo. I see.
That was it was funny. Patti really checked that lady. So that was his wife. Congressman David Throne apologized for using a racial slur during budget hearing. What did he say? What kind of slur could he possibly... Oh, he said jigaboo? He got that mixed up with the word bugaboo. While attempting to use the word bugaboo in a hearing, I used that word that is offensive. I recognize that as a white man, I have privilege, and as an elected official, I have a responsibility for the words I use. I just don't even know why was he saying it? What are you saying that requires you to even say bugaboo? I don't care enough. Let's see what else. Georgia man is charged after fatally shooting a 23-year-old who asked him for money at a gas station. I have to find the context behind this because I don't like people walking up on me at the gas station either. So Jennifer Lewis shares a health update after falling off her 10-foot balcony in Africa. So Jennifer was in the Serengeti, and she said that she hadn't been given a tour to her room, and she was looking at her infinity pool when there was a balcony that she didn't realize didn't have a railing, and she just fell 10 feet. 10 feet. This is a picture of her down here. Well, it was somewhere. Let's see if we still got it. She was just down in these rocks, y'all. And I know it's not funny, but she was just laying in some rocks. I'm like, Jennifer, was you that elated? I know, because you get back to the motherland. Look at her. She back skating.
I know that you can talk. You talking all this shit, but let me see if you can walk. Let me see you walk. Yeah, I know that you can talk. You talking all this shit, but let me see if you can walk.
Okay, she back out here walking, y'all. I know that's right. She's 67. So this happened in 2022, but she's getting it back together. It was a picture of her, but I ain't gonna lie. Now that she's up and walking, I'm happy about that. If that would happen to me, I would have had that walker. I would have had the walker. I would have had the wheelchair. I would have had it all. But she back. 67. Them bones is still healing. I know that's right, Jen. Do I want to look at TMZ? I seen some crap on here earlier. They have like the same crap all the time. Kanye and his wife back out. She's half naked per usual. Oh yeah, they finally found the guy that's from the University of Missouri in Nashville. They said his death was accidental, but he was found in the water. Poor dude. I'm not reading nothing about Travis and that girl. I'm tired of them. Can we just wait until football season when we know y'all gonna just talk about this the whole time? Alright, I watched Roadhouse with Jake Gyllenhaal this weekend. It wasn't terrible. The action's what saved it. Alright, yeah, Giselle said she didn't cheat on Tom Brady. I don't know what Giselle, I don't know if she's missing the spotlight or something, but I know why she's back to talking about Tom Brady all the time again. Like, y'all divorced, let it go. Let's get into some Dear Abby's. Dear Abby, my wife and I have been teachers since 1999. We married in 2011. She became a vegan in 2017. It helped her beat diabetes, which I love. However, she's pure vegan for animal rights and listens to vegan podcasts all day long after teaching on the weekends. I mean, all day, every day with earbuds in. I had to say knock knock to even talk to her. Right now, she's listening to podcasts and messaging vegan people on social media and doesn't even realize I'm typing. I love my wife, but I can't escape the frustration of not being able to have a conversation with her about anything. We have no kids together, but I raised her son from 7 years old. He moved to live with his dad because of her obsession with work and veganism. I love her, but the fridge is filled with kale. Should I stay or should I go? Afterthought in Oregon. Dear Afterthought, tap your wife on the shoulder, ask her to remove the earbuds. When she does, give her an earful. Tell her you love her, but you need her to be a partner who's willing to be more of a companion. Listen, I know we all can get into our things, but when you're married, you have to give your partner attention. It just is what it is. Even though I'm guilty, I have to be like, my husband wants to spend time with me. I have to like shut down what I'm doing, give him some attention. This is just par for the course of marriage. I mean, you like the people, so you want to keep them happy. She can't be that obsessed though. Yeah, she's slipping big time. Give her the meat that she doesn't get anymore, you know? She's got all the vegetables in her life. Give us some meat. Dear Abby, my best friend's priorities have changed. My best friend since in 9th grade and I have always watched NFL football on Sundays. We've watched through the births of our children. He's a godfather to both. They are now adults, deaths in the family and everything. He's never married. He's never has been married or has significant other. He is very family oriented though. He has 2 sisters and 2 brothers. 2 years ago, his siblings moved to other states. It was very sad time for him. The bond I thought would never be broken now has been. I completely understand his visiting them during Thanksgiving, Christmas, and any special event. But my view is, besides those visits, he could see them anytime during the entire 6-month off season from football. When I said this, he told me things have changed, and although he has been back both summers, he tells me it's cooler and more pleasant to visit them in the autumn. Of course, I'm the one who drives him to the airport every time. I truly miss my best friend on those Sundays. I'm hurt and would like your advice on what to do. Lonely sports fan out west. Dear sports fan, I understand your sadness and hurt feelings, but it's time to start accepting reality. Your friend has explained that his family circumstances have changed and you must accept it. The changes in his circumstances have nothing to do with you and everything to do with his desire to stay connected to his siblings. It's time for you to become proactive. The next step should be to find another sports fan. He can't. He's heartbroken. These guys like to get together with their little buddies on football time, and believe me, my husband has his people he likes to watch games with, and then if they don't come, then it's me and my dog. So I get it. Your best friend should make time with you. I actually disagree with Abby on this one. I mean, he should make time, but don't pressure the guy. Let him, she is right. Get you another dude to kick it with. Maybe he might get jealous and come crawling back. This is funny. Dear Abby, my boyfriend wants to marry me, but he's ugly. Dear Abby, I've been seeing a man for about a year. For the most part, we get along fine. We spend a lot of time together, and he professes his love for me. His intentions are to be together forever, although that has not been a proposal. I think I could continue this relationship indefinitely, but there's just one thing. I'm not physically attracted to him. Hold on, because... Alright, hold on. Thank you. There's just one thing. I'm not physically attracted to him. He's presentable and well-groomed, but it can't compare to the fact... But it can't compare to the fact that he's homely. I am, to put it plainly, a beautiful woman I have always dated in my league. Wow. Very confident. I'm trying hard not to be shallow, but this bothers me greatly. Sometimes I'm just disgusted. I know we'll both age, but until then, he'll still be ugly. I do have feelings for him, but should I try harder to overlook his defects? Torn about him in Nevada. Dear Torn, no. For both your sakes, please don't do that. The man you're writing about deserves someone who's more focused on his inner qualities than you seem capable of. Forcing yourself to like him should not be necessary. Because this bothers you so much, do both yourselves a favor and let him go. No, if you ain't attracted to him, let him go, for real. For real. It ain't gonna change. And then when the physical things do go, now you are gonna just be stuck with that person, let him go. He probably wouldn't even want to leave you because you probably hurt his self-esteem so much that you probably I got somebody out of my league, I ain't never leaving. Good luck with that. Years ago, my spouse's friend Valerie invited us to lunch. I had never met her, but had previous contact with her through email. Valerie clearly did not like me. We sat over lunch for 4 hours during that time. Although she sat across from me, she never looked at me, never spoke to me, never acknowledged my presence. It was humiliating and dehumanizing. Since we live in a different state, it was clear to me we would not be meeting again. Well, Valerie has now renewed contact with my spouse through letters and emails, reestablishing old ties. I've asked her to not let Valerie back into our lives. I'm upset that she accepted contact after how Valerie treated me. My spouse hasn't addressed Valerie's behavior, and at the time of the incident, I was asked to let it go, which I did. Now that Valerie has resurfaced, contacting only my spouse and addressing cards only to my spouse, it's clear the game is on once again. My spouse is not supporting my feelings and refuses to acknowledge Valerie's rudeness during the lunch visit. I do not want to be friends with this person. My spouse has made it clear she intends to remain in contact. Am I wrong for asking her to forego this friendship? Unacknowledged in Oregon. Dear unacknowledged, no, you're not wrong. Ask your spouse why is she nurturing a relationship with Valerie, and if she would like to end your relationship, to please say so now because you feel threatened by what Valerie is doing. It's honest and your fears are true. It's better to know now. Yeah, if you, are not respecting somebody's spouse, and especially this seems like a same-sex relationship, it seems like you might have to be like, do you want her or me? What's it gonna be? Let's get into these Reddits, why don't we? Next week, y'all be back in story time because we're coming off a social media hiatus. And I won't be reading so much. We'll let people talk to you more. Won't you be so happy? What is a sure way of effing up your life? Getting into credit card debt early, any kind of debt, it's going to leave you behind unless you hit the lottery. Telling yourself that you can't do any better, it become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Yeah, you gotta be careful what you put in the atmosphere. Heroin, meth, and crack. Yes, prescription pills for that matter, alcohol. Currently work at a casino, and although I've only been there less than 6 months, it feels like a very dangerous game that could easily lead to effing up your whole life. Succumbing to anger while under the influence. Learning to control your anger is something that does come with age, hopefully. Some people never master it, but it is really interesting that period between your teenage hormones to middle, like you're learning to not let people trigger you. And if you start off with like this little bad attitude, it's hard to harness that, man. I'm telling you. Trying to make other people happy by changing yourself, you'll start to lose your sense of identity and you'll never be happy. Ain't that the truth? Get filmed losing your stuff and saying stuff you shouldn't say. Worse than back ready. Yeah, you gotta watch what you say and watch what you type. I'm very careful sometimes of what I say on here. Like I said, I don't say everything I'd love to say. Going in the military at 18, effing around and getting a dishonorable discharge, no one worth will hire you. But yeah, why would you do that? Fentanyl, marrying the wrong woman. There's coming back from that. Marrying your ex's lawyer for the inside scoop. That's crazy. Procrastination. Having sex with family members. Very awkward at Christmas time. Wow. Going to college without a plan. Unhealthy diet, no exercise, living beyond your means, lack of healthy relationships. Being born in the wrong country. Yeah, unless you can become an immigrant somewhere. People who voted against unionizing your workplace, why did you vote against it? Interesting question. On multiple occasions, the organizers straight up lied to us about what they were negotiating. Their primary focus was closing the deal so they could say they unionized. Eventually, we got rid of those people, and the union brought in new negotiators, but it cost us time. I was against that union specifically until they brought in the new guys. There were always issues with the union, but generally, it felt like someone had my back when it comes to my boss tried to discipline us for things that weren't our fault. It is important to start off with the right union. Unions can be good, but today's unions are kind of like, One thing I don't like about my job after joining the union was that they told my employer that my schedule that I loved had to change because it was allegedly illegal. I was working 7 days on, 7 days off, 9 p.m. to 8. Loved it because of the 7 days in a row off that I was getting. And yeah, the union will make you start having lunch breaks and crap. I hate that. I hate that. And it's always one person. If one person don't like something, then they can go and change it all for everybody. It's kind of annoying. I mean, unions have like when it comes to pay and stuff like that and fighting for your jobs. If you got a good union, they do well. But like I said, today's unions are kind of in bed with the company, so it's kind of like. I didn't get to vote in this election because I wasn't in the organized category, but I heard union reps telling these low-wage kids with very few skills that they would force a company, which is horizontally organized firm with a lot of severance pay, that they would pay them $50 to $100 an hour. The kids laughed it up. They voted to unionize, and the company cut the department within a few weeks. It was very predictable and very dumb. I'm generally pro-union, but being willing to go on strike does not necessarily mean you have infinite leverage. I mean, the company's gonna cut you regardless, for sure. I mean, it's a gamble, but it would be better to have a union than not. Yes, you'll get better wages. They're eventually gonna need some people back. But it's a two-edged sword, for real. But it's better to have one than to not have one. For the union, My Field Television is basically a GoFundMe for high-profile journalists to sue the networks to sack them for stepping out of line. It doesn't get involved in anything that impacts the 99% of us that actually do the work and get treated like crap. Like, I generally would side with those journalists against the networks, but the union does not all for the staff doing unsocial hours, unpaid overtime, etc. Go off with your moral crusade for the truth, but I'm not going to fund your legal defense when I'm having to work unpaid hours to actually facilitate the said crusade. Edit, to be clear, this is not the U.S. TV unions, which are pretty good on all accounts. I used to work for a place where the union had to do split shifts, rotating 8.5 hours a day. Had benefits as was being trained for the next step, which would have been straight hours, better pay and better shifts. The union then agreed that workers doing split shifts could not be scheduled for overtime, so you could only work either 3 hours or 5.5, whilst full-time benefits and the future career. Yeah, it's like 50-50, but I would still always say better to have one. What would you do if today was your last day on Earth? Well, I'd go spending with my family. And just talk about what we did here. It's time. If it was the last day for only me, there would not really be enough time for me to go see my family, so they better come to me. I guess I'd have sex with a cute guy, do a bit of weed, low-dose shrooms, eat very well, listen to my favorite music, and meet the end, hopefully in a nice warm hug from my dad. Oh, and tell my family not to be sad before the end. I don't even do drugs. Then you ain't gonna remember nothing. Find a new home for my cat. High-class prostitutes, barrel of spiced rum, and a frightening amount of cocaine. Tell everyone I love them very much and how I have loved them, even if I just told them yesterday. Somebody said, I'm not even going to read that. Hug my family and sit down until it's over. Give everything to poor people. Yeah. You can have this. I mean, till you get caught, you can have it. Probably eat a whole pumpkin pie with whipped cream. Spend every second of the day with my family and loved ones. Depends on if it's just mine or everyone else's. Mine get hammered, everyone else's get hammered with friends. I've seen this in a couple of movies, and I wouldn't even be trying this. I would just be like, you know what, we gonna just stay here. You know, which was that Greenland, everybody was trying to leave and people were fighting and on the highway. I would just stay right at home. I wouldn't even try. Just forget it. Alright, let's get into these. Am I the a-hole? Am I the a-hole? That ain't even the original one. Let me see. Am I the a-hole for being angry with my wife because she stayed in a hotel with another man? I'm 28, my wife's 28. We've been married for 2 years, been in a relationship for 6. We both enjoy going to live music, and sometimes we'll go with friends while the other needs to work. My wife was invited to go to a show on Saturday night with a male friend. We would call him Larry. They have gone to shows before with other people involved and come back late at night. This has always been fine. This time the other person going with them canceled, so it would just be the two of them. My wife approached me the morning of the show and said that Larry was not comfortable driving home after the show that night, so they would be getting a hotel room together. She asked if it was alright with that. I responded, no, I'm not, and gave her reasoning why. I have known Larry for a few months. Larry likes to brag about visiting the area that show is going to be in. When he goes there, he reserves rooms and specifically takes married women there to sleep with. Larry has also been reprimanded at his job for using his management position to acquire employees' phone numbers so he can flirt with them. My wife looked at me and told me okay and did not return home until 1 p.m. Sunday. I've not spoken to her since then. As I was trying to keep, and then this is update. As I was trying to keep this anonymous, this did not happen yesterday. I've talked to my wife about this. She adamantly claims that he did not come to the hotel with her until morning and was effed up when he arrived, forcing her to drive back. Yes, the third person did exist. I've spoken with that person too. They work at... Anyway, I mean, here's the thing. You know your wife should not, but at least she told you, because she could have still lied. So at least she told you she was planning, and you said you wouldn't be comfortable with that, which she probably should have known that, but at least she told you. I mean, yeah, you have every right to be mad, but she could have lied. Somebody said, not the a-hole, I wouldn't want my wife sharing a room with any guy. The reason you gave her weren't simple, I'm jealous reason, they're valid reasons. She did it anyway and didn't come home to one. That's suspicious. Yeah, I mean, she could have lied and not said anything. So, I mean, you have a right to be mad at her, but I don't know, it's all weird. Am I the a-hole for breaking up with my girlfriend because she went to a sex club? A bit of context, me and my girlfriend, both mid-20s, have been living together for almost 3 years and never had a problem like this before. One day, she decided to go and visit a friend of hers in another country and planned to stay there for a week. I was more than happy because she would have had a great time abroad with her friend and I would have passed some time by myself. And then she mentioned their intention to go to the famous sex club in a specific area, known for its open-minded approach to extreme sexual activities. There is a strict dress code, minimum to no clothing unless you have the wetter, and for obvious reasons, they take your phone at the entrance. Of course, I was really uncomfortable with the idea, and in the following days, we talked about it a lot. She told me she was curious and wanted to see the vibe. I have literally zero problems with sex clubs and people enjoy participating. I know that there's an entire culture around that, and people are generally very respectful, boundaries, yada yada. So exactly what was making me anxious about her going, the idea of her being half naked in a small place of people who are there to dance, to have sex, drugs, etc. I was also worried about something unpleasant could happen, even though I think it's not common in this place. People can sometimes be very insistent, inappropriate. We talked a lot and she tried to prove the point that my fear was actually that she could have sex with someone that night and cheat. And that basically meant that I have a bad idea and don't trust her. I tried to explain all this. No, you're not the a-hole. Somebody said, not the a-hole, you two are not compatible. That is putting it nicely. I think you were smart to break up with her. Yeah, she likes sex clubs. You don't. That's not compatible. There's no open-mindedness to sex clubs where you have to come in naked and participate. They're not going to let you sit there and gawk. Yeah. Am I the a-hole for hiding a past bisexual relationship from my wife? Yeah. I can tell you that right now. I'm a 42-year-old male, spent the summer of the early 2000s and my early 20s going to all the concerts I possibly could. The pop punk rock scene was at its peak, and when I was in perfect age for it, I would spend every penny I had made at my crappy jobs going to these places. I'm just gonna go down here. He met somebody named Max. He and I immediately connected, and we spent the next 2 weeks or so attached at the hip. It's not something I can even accurately define it as a relationship, hence the quotation marks in the title. It was just a very intense 2 weeks of us getting to know each other, going on road trips, and sort of falling in love while experiencing something we both love. He told me he thought we were better as friends and wasn't sure he was really into dudes. It was the most profound hurt I'd ever felt in my life, and it really shocked me. I'd been in relationships before, real ones that included commitment, lasted for months, and I hadn't taken those breakups nearly hard. He and I remained friends after it took some time to myself, but I never had another relationship with a man after that. I feel like that level of hurt was my warning sign to stay away. Now I'm old, married, and most of my music enjoyment these days comes in the form of me sitting at home listening with a glass of wine as opposed to sweltering crowd being used, blah, blah, blah. I have 2 children. Recently, while going through some old stuff, I found old photos of Max and I in our eyeliner wearing heydays that tucked away. When his family came over, I pulled them out to show everyone. We all had a bit of drink, and Max said something along the lines of, "It's us in our bisexual phase." I could tell my wife's demeanor changed, and once we were alone later that night, I was all interrogated over it. I told her it was a brief 2 weeks fling, and that I don't really identify as bisexual these days or when I met her, and that it didn't seem worth mentioning. She said I broke her trust by hiding this, and that she needs time to think. This all happened on Friday night, and things are incredibly tense between us. I wouldn't like it at all. I mean, because a woman should know if you have attraction to men. I don't know if it's divorce worthy because you're not still hooking up with dudes, but it's just something you should have mentioned. Somebody said, so have you talked about your past but never mentioned you had sex with a man? Yeah. That's a pretty thing. You fell in love with someone, F like rabbits, broke up, met your wife, got married and had kids, and you introduced your ex to your wife and never told her he was your ex-lover and allowed her to become close to them and intertwine your families. You knew she would have cared to know, and you deliberately didn't tell her from the first moment you introduced him. That's called a lie of omission, and you kept a lie for years. Now she has to find out like this. She must feel humiliated and embarrassed like everyone else knew. I'm guessing his wife knew since he said it in front of everyone. She has every right to be upset. You're the a-hole. Finally, you're the a-hole. I thought never this could be. And here we are. You are the a-hole. Yes, I agree. So funny. Am I the a-hole for breaking up with my boyfriend for refusing to unfollow porn stars? How do you know he's following porn stars? I mean, I don't know I don't think my husband does that. I'm gonna say emphatically I know my husband doesn't, but I don't check. I mean, there's some things that just don't check every thing. I know the internet, and sometimes you see stuff on your timeline. I mean, to obsess over who they're following, unless he's sending them payments, I don't know. And no, my husband doesn't follow porn stars, but would I check to see if he was? It's just so many things to worry about in this world. Am I the a-hole for forcing the man who was cheating with me to confess to his wife? I am the other woman. A man, let's call him Tom, was cheating on his wife and me, And I was clueless for 9 months, and I found out he had a wife and 2 kids. I confronted him, and he told me that he has a dead bedroom. This is a new thing people keep hearing. I guess it's a sexless marriage with his wife, and that's why he did what he did. I told him I don't care and gave him ultimatum to come clear to his wife or I will do it for him. I gave him grace to let him confess because he has always been good to me. He confessed that evening. He also left her that evening too. For 2 weeks there was a radio silence. Then his wife started harassing me. At first it was talking about the affair and what happened. Then she got more agitated and started blaming me for it. I contacted Tom and he told me that she buried her head in the sand to not address the state of their marriage. I just forced her to face reality. I asked Tom what his plans are, and he said he's figuring it out. He told me he went on a few dates with a woman in the past 2 weeks. His wife is still blaming me. She messages me every day that I'm a homewrecker. I sometimes feel like I should have just kept my mouth shut. What was I even trying to achieve? I thought I was doing the right thing. I also find myself stalking Tom on social media. He posted pictures of a woman he went on a date with, and I just feel sad. I definitely do not want him back, but I had a great time with him, and I'm mourning that. Why couldn't he have just left his wife before meeting me? All I achieved was sadness and harassment, and I'm being blamed for being a homewrecker. I feel I should have just left without a word. Keyword, you should have left. And he was going to he cheated on you. He going to continue to cheat. His wife probably already knew. You telling her? Just block the lady. She'll find someone else to stalk, I'm sure. Not the a-hole, block them both. Forget about them. You did the right thing telling her. She's just really hurt and has to stay somewhat nice to him because of the children. So you're an easy, undeserved target. I agree. And when she finds out about this other woman, she'll start talking her. This is gold. So you tell the wife about the affair and being an unwilling person. He chooses to leave her and she blames you. This guy hasn't seen you in 2 weeks, and when you tell him about the harassment, he tells you about the new woman he's dating while in denial. I'm sorry you're going through this. Time to block all of them and focus on yourself. Amen. Focus on yourself. You guys focus on yourself. Enjoy your week. Have a blessed week. I pray God keeps his hedge of protection around you. And you guys, I hope your week goes fast and get back to the weekend. Amen and amen.